All right, as you guys can see up on the screen today, I want to talk a little bit about Progenity Incorporated once again. As you can see today, this stock was neither green nor red. I think it's always interesting when you just see like the gray or the black or whatever. It's so weird because we're so used to, especially with volatile companies like Progenity, used to these big upswings or big downswings. But seeing that this thing closed exactly even, 225 close yesterday and a 225 close today. And I could really see this being seen as either a good or a bad thing for Progenity. And if you said one or the other, I really wouldn't argue with you too much. On the one hand, this could be seen as a good thing for Progenity because the overall market didn't have a great day today. The S&P was in the red, down 0.06%. The NASDAQ was down. And this is another day of Progenity not tanking, not crashing, not going down any lower, and holding its current levels. At the end of the day, is pretty good for a lot of Prog holders. When you zoom out a little bit, we're down 20% last month, down 30% last 6 months. We're flat year to date, but down 62% over the past 365 days. So at this point, for some people, depending on what you bought in at, trading flat is a win. It's not going down further. That is very, very good. But obviously the downside could be the fact that some people are in this thing in the very short term. Some people are looking for big jumps up. People want this thing moving, up and up and up and starting to turn that momentum around and the direction around. And also, when looking at the market as a whole, the Russell, which is obviously, geared more towards the smaller cap stocks, was up 1.05% today. So, while Prog did outpace the S&P and outpace the NASDAQ today, it actually underperformed the Russell, and as a $370 million market cap company, when a lot of other smaller cap stocks and stocks in this exact market cap range were up today, Progenity wasn't. So again, you kind of have some good and some bad. If there's enough evidence to make the case that this was a good day, there's enough evidence, to make the case that this was a bad day for Progenity as well. Like I said, I wouldn't argue with you too much either way. But some of the things people are talking about with Prog right now, there was this is I think the most upvoted post on the Progenity subreddit right now, is that it is gathering momentum. Prog is too strong to fall. Investors and Progger apes on Reddit have too much faith in it. On a bearish day, the Prog is rising slowly and steadily, and this is just the beginning. Now, obviously, I would argue with some of this a little bit. I don't think it's rising slowly and steadily. I mean, yes, from where it was, being down, it made its way back to even. But at the same time, I mean, this wasn't rising steadily or slowly. I mean, again, when we look at what we've been doing, yes, past week we're at 14%. This has been very, very good the last, 5-ish trading days, but still, I mean, there's not a whole lot that's rising slowly and steadily about, a lot of these graphs you can take a look at. And today we were just flat, so this doesn't make too much sense. Also the fact that it's too strong to fall, they have too much faith in it, like, it can seem like that sometimes, and yes, one definitely good thing about Progenity is the kind of cult-like following that it has, and it does seem like there's a lot of interest and a lot of people excited about it. Again, even just the subreddit has 9,500 members, and that's pretty good for a stock of Progenity size. But at the same time, if this thing starts tanking, if this thing starts falling, if it goes down too much further, if we break the $2 barrier and we go down to $1.75, $1.50, whatever. I don't know, how much faith a lot of these people are going to have in it. It is kind of my speculation that a lot of these people are pretty paper-handed. A lot of these people jump from the short squeeze play to the short squeeze play, from the hype play to the hype play, from the new kind of retail investing play to the new one. Yes, there are a lot of people who are just in Progenity and Progenity alone and are buying the dips and are really, really excited and interested, and that's great, but I don't think that's the majority of people, and that's kind of one of the questions I have for Prog. But, it is good to see that this is the top post. It is good to see that, there's a bullish post at the top and that people are excited and believe that Progenity is gathering momentum, even if it's not necessarily in the stock price, if it is in, good news and things that keep coming out for the stock and the company, which I do believe is happening. Then this guy talking about the option chain for Progenity, he says, Prog, huge patent news is imminent. That's obviously very, very speculative, to make a statement like that without having too much information, something you need to be definitely a little bit careful of. But his evidence is that the January 21st option chain interest is huge. This one will go to $8 to $10 this year, 100%, with pre-Occludia 3B launch in a few months. Now, again, why he's saying that patent news is imminent is because of these, January call option chains, seeing the open interest. I don't know if it actually shows the open interest on here. Yeah, the open interest of 34,000 of these contracts, which is honestly a pretty crazy amount. Then you also see that there is still 72 more bids, at 20 cents for the $2.50 call with the 121 date on it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, that is honestly a lot of a lot of open interest for a small stock like Prog, especially in a short dated contract. So there is speculation that maybe this could be, people with some inside information looking to get ahead of big news, and that's obviously what this guy is kind of speculating about and thinking. And this also could be related to some of the news, of the patent that has already been leaked that I want to say was scheduled for like January 8th or January 18th or something like that. But there is more and more interest and more news popping up about future potential patents coming out, and just more and more good news for Prog. But, this guy's taking a look at the option chain and trying to, draw conclusions from that. And then, so he's getting some backlash. People telling him to stay away from options. Holding shares is the only way to go. I'm thinking option chains on the 21st will blow this thing up huge. So there is kind of people on both sides. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily read too much into this, but this is something where if this does happen and play out, we can kind of, use hindsight to see that, hey, maybe this was so obvious or whatever. But I did think it was kind of interesting. And then what we also have here is an article from investorplace.com. Prog stock is a buy as Progenity becomes a leaner company. I think this is something that a lot of people will be excited to read. Obviously, people who are in Prog, they already know a lot of this information, but to see, a company writing an article about Prog and giving a positive light and spin on Prog when not necessarily a lot of other people are, I think is really, really cool. So they do say at a glance, going back to the beginning in June 2020, Prog priced its IPO at $15 per share. Ultimately, it did lose 12.5% on its first day of trading, which is crazy. And over the next year, things just kept kind of getting worse. Obviously, an IPO at $15, we're currently sitting at $2.25. That is just absolute disaster. But, all companies and all stocks, some of them are going to go bankrupt, but maybe some of them can find a bottom eventually. I mean, this thing has bottomed out at 66 cents, which is insane coming from a $15 IPO price. But over the next year, Prog stock declined, and there were sizable rallies along the way. In fact, there were 350% or greater run-ups in 2021, just showing the real volatility in this thing, and that, if you are one to buy the dips, that maybe it can, really, really pay off for you. They do talk about how smaller can be better. Can a company actually improve by slimming down its operations? It's definitely possible. Obviously, most companies, try and bolster themselves up by growth and adding new businesses and new revenue streams and new profit generating, avenues and branches. But Progenity is proving that there is another way to go about this. They have prioritized firming up their capital position in 2021. They reported $44 million in warrant exercises during the fourth quarter of 2021. Through an exchange transaction, they reduced 38% of the principal amount of its convertible senior notes due 2025 held by non-affiliates. They also have observed great strides in optimizing capital structure and bolstering its liquidity positions. They also have the divestiture of its affiliate Avero Diagnostics, which a lot of people are excited about as well. My nose is running a little bit. I gotta get I can't breathe. So they did declare that the Avero divestiture resulted in a further annual operating expense reduction of approximately $28 million. So, they're already just doing a lot of stuff when this has been a company kind of burning money, losing a lot of money, just making more ways to slim themselves down. If we cut our expenses by a lot, then we won't need to grow, revenues and profit and stuff as much. And if you cut your expenses down first, then focus on growing profits later on, then, when you do grow those profits, 5, 10, however many years from now, that can be an absolute home run. We don't have some of that other stuff, weighing you down. They do talk about another patent for the portfolio. Even while they slim down its business and reducing expenses, the company continues to announce new patents. Not too long ago, the patent portfolio comprised of 96 patent families. Those included 180 issued patents as well as over 220 pending applications, which is huge. As those pending applications become issued and successful and actual patents, that's just a ton of future potential catalysts for this company. Now we can add yet another to the portfolio. This involves Progenity's single molecule detection platform. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. In particular, the U.S. patent is titled Methods, Systems, and Compositions for Counting Nucleic Acid Molecules. And yeah, just another patent, though. It's really an indication for a new direction of Progenity. As they migrate away from commercial diagnostics, they are actively seeking partners to further develop this promising asset. So their takeaway is that Progenity isn't just patent rich, it's also capital rich, or at least it's getting firmer in its finances now that they've been making some good strides. All in all, stakeholders should appreciate the potential of this leaner, better capitalized company. Hopefully 2022 will offer a fresh start and possibly higher price points for Prog stock. So they don't make any crazy claims, they don't give a price target, nothing like that, but they do just kind of hint at and at least make other people aware of the positive strides and everything that Progeny is doing. Because again, at first glance, people looking at this company and seeing it went from $15 to $2 in like a year and change, a year and a half now at this point, that's going to scare a lot of people away. That's going to make people wonder what the heck is going on. But as more and more people see that, hey, Progeny is a different company than they were in June of 2020. They are making strides in the right direction. They are trying to turn things around, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Hopefully that'll start to gain, more people in the market, more confidence about Progeny's future. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about PROG stock. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully get you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.